Welcome, everybody. Today, I'm excited to get a chance to speak with three trailblazers and Agentforce experts, Dalida Zoghaib, Ishan Babbar, and Nadine Layne. These three and many others recently joined forces for a hackathon-style collaboration between Bell Canada, Salesforce, and Ateko. Our teams worked together to deliver agentic AI Agentforce concepts, and the results were remarkable. So today, we're going to take this chance to learn from the best and get the inside scoop on the exciting ways we can drive productivity, efficiency, and success in the organization with Agentforce. So first, I'll get everyone to introduce themselves.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dalida Zoghaib. I am the Senior Manager of the CRM COE team here at Bell. I manage and oversee the team of day-to-day support within Salesforce at Bell.
Great. Ishan.
Hi, my name is Ishan. I lead the Salesforce practice at Ateko. And on this Agentforce hackathon, I was actually working with Dalida as a hands-on developer on our Agentforce use case.
Great.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nadine Layne, and I am an intermediate Salesforce administrator at Ateko. And on the hackathon, I was an implementer, like Ishan, but more on the declarative side of AI usage.
Great. All right, so let's jump right in, and I'll start with you, Dalida. Where did the idea for the hackathon come from?
So the hackathon idea, well, it all started when I was asked to build a Salesforce AI proof of concept for the Salesforce Toronto World Tour last year. Our sales folks actually loved it, probably because they realized it made their lives easier. We ended up implementing a basic version internally. Fast forward, Bell and Ateko with Salesforce, they took it to the next level, showcasing the Dalida agent, named after me, at the Mobile World Congress. Seeing the possibilities, the ideal of the hackathon came out of an executive BBM discussion on how to leverage agentic AI to boost sales productivity. Greg from Ateko and my director, Andrew, were tasked with running a hackathon to show the art of the possible with agentic AI. So a team of three from our CRM COE team, the folks with the business know-how, was assembled. We were then paired with the brilliant minds of three Ateko developers. We were like peanut butter and jelly, the perfect combo.
We love our Ateko developers. So for Bell, what was the value of bringing Ateko into the mix?
Well, for Bell, bringing Ateko into the mix was absolutely critical. We had the business understanding, the vision of what we wanted to achieve with the embedded AI within Salesforce. We knew the pain points, the workflows, and the opportunities. But let's be honest, we weren't exactly coding experts. So that's where Ateko comes in. They provided the technical wizardry. We mostly just pointed and said, make it do that, please. So they translated our business needs into tangible solutions, bridging the gap between concept and reality. Their expertise allowed us to rapidly prototype, iterate, and ultimately deliver a product that truly addressed the needs of our sales teams. So Ateko wasn't just a vendor. They were an indispensable partner in making this hackathon a reality.
That's amazing. Really great. So now kind of to the trickier side of things, what was the most challenging aspect of pulling off an event like this? And Dalida, I'll start with you, but then Ishan and Nadine, I'll get your input as well.
Honestly, the most challenging aspect was simply finding the time to do it all. We all had our real jobs, the ones that we actually do to get our bills paid at the end of the day. So adding a full-blown hackathon on top of that was like trying to juggle chainsaws while driving a unicycle in reality. It meant late nights fueled by caffeine, early mornings fueled by sheer willpower, and a whole lot of calendar Tetris to connect together. We had actively carved out dedicated hackathon time and fight the urge to check our phones every 5 seconds while we were together. And then there were the ideas. We had so many incredible submissions for the hackathon. Trying to pick and choose was like being asked to pick your favorite child. Impossible. But we also had to be realistic. We only had a few days to actually build these things out. So we had to prioritize feasibility alongside innovation. It was a tough balancing act. but the amazing results from the participants made us realize that all the sacrifices were totally worth it at the end.
Can't even imagine the calendar Tetris. That would have been wild. All right, Nadine, what was your take on this?
For me, it's all of the above that Dalida had already mentioned. But on top of it, this org, I've never worked with this side of Bell before. So what happens and the processes that happen in this org was all new to me. So I had to try and figure out the different terminology, the different fields, the different components, and what happens behind the scenes, and understand the business process. So I had to put that on top of figuring out how I was going to build my project. So that was a little bit challenging as well.
Yeah, really interesting though, because you'd be approaching it with like a completely fresh set of eyes and like a perspective that wasn't tainted by any existing framework. So that's really neat. Ishan, what about you?
Yeah, I agree with both Dalida and Nadine on some of their challenges. I think one thing Dalida pointed out 100%, which was a big challenge, is also kind of just deciding when you're done and when it's ready to present, because you could theoretically make this thing go forever and keep iterating and keep making it better. So that was obviously a challenge. From a technical standpoint, with a hackathon like this, it was really about getting also the environments ready to go. So because we were all trying to develop in an environment with data, we needed some more sandboxes, and kind of getting that ready was a bit of a challenge. But we had a lot of help from Salesforce on acquiring some of those sandboxes, and we were able to have a much better end product by doing so. So one recommendation I have to people who are doing a hackathon like this and are working with Salesforce to do the hackathon is, look at getting full copy sandboxes, because that's going to help you do a lot better job as your agents can have real data to work with instead of in a developer sandbox where it's maybe just metadata. So really, really great to have those sandboxes in place.
Yeah, I would agree with Ishan on that, Leslie, because that was a quite challenging for me on my end in developing my project, was not having a lot of the data there.
No, that's great. Like real world technical advice that you can plan it all out really well, but you need to actually have everything in place to be able to do the activity. So not a step that you want to skip. So I'm going to move on to our next question. And I know there were a lot of amazing ideas that were suggested when this was kicked off. I'd love to know, was there a particular use case that you were most excited or enthusiastic about? And Dalida, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so that's a tough one, Leslie. So it's truly like asking me to pick my favorite flavored ice cream, which I could never pick in reality. But if I had to pick one, and I have to confess, I do have a soft spot on this one, is how agentic AI can support performance management use case. Not only because it was my brainchild, and yes, I'm shamelessly plugging in my own ideal here, but I was even more thrilled because I get to get my hands dirty and work on it directly. So you see, having been at Bell for quite some time, I've seen firsthand the pain points that the executives and sales teams face when trying to get a clear picture of their activities. It's like trying to assemble a jigsaw puzzle in reality with half of the pieces missing. They're spending hours stitching things together when they could be out there, actually doing what they're supposed to do, selling. So the idea of using agentic AI to streamline that process was incredibly appealing. And seeing it come to life during the hackathon, presenting it and hearing it, the oohs and ahs, and when are we getting this? That was pure validation, of course. Furthermore, I also got to work with an incredible person, Ishan, who's on the call, who sprinkled some serious magic on the project and took it to the next level even, right? Like he even added things in there that I didn't even think of. But in all seriousness, I was truly impressed by all the use cases that were submitted and that came out of the hackathon. It was truly a testament to the talent and creativity of everyone involved in this hackathon.
Did Ishan pay you to say that?
No, he did not.
Just kidding. Ishan is great. We love him. Nadine, why don't you tell us a little bit about what was most exciting to you?
I was very impressed by my colleague Sagar. He built a account search based on specific criteria, and then was able to give the end user communication with the customer by email. And pulling on to these account data delivered a more personalized experience. But what I really loved was the way he dressed it up so very nicely and Lightning Web Components, and it made it so inviting, so fresh. So he used the new Salesforce look. I was really jealous on that point. And so I feel like I need to learn that quick. And so it just made a simple prompt builder look so much more than what it was.
Yeah, that's really valuable because, not only do you want these things to work, but you want them to look good so that people want to interact with them, so that you have the Lightning Web Components and everything there kind of out of the box. It's such a benefit that kind of takes these Agentforce agents to the next level. Very cool. All right. I'm going to now ask, were there any surprising or unexpected insights? So Dalida, why don't you kick that one off?
Yeah, so the biggest surprise, and a very pleasant one at that, was just how quickly we were able to get everything up and running. We went from the initial concept to a fully functional hackathon in what felt like a record time. I think a huge part of it was how quickly the Ateko team grasped the project and really understood their homework in reality, so to speak. So they were able to take our vision and translate it into a working prototype with remarkable speed and efficiency. It was a testament to their expertise and their ability to quickly adapt and innovate. Honestly, I was expecting a few more hiccups along the way. The whole process was surprisingly smooth and efficient. It just goes to show what can be accomplished with a talented team and clear vision.
Amazing. Ishan, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I always agree with Dalida. I find good rule in life is just agree with Dalida, and you'll always be right. But one of the things, and honestly, shout out to Mandar and Amber, who were the project managers from both the Bell and the Teco side. I like Dalida, I was expecting a lot more hiccups, but I think those two worked really, really hard to make sure everything was organized. They kept all of us sort of in line in a lot of ways too, to make sure everything was delivered on time, delivered to executives, and really ran the show. So thank you to both Mandar and Amber. Sorry. So one of the other kind of, I guess, unexpected insights, but a very, very good realization that kind of crystallized during the hackathon is that this is a really good way to showcase the value to executives. And I think as teams start to look at new projects and secure funding for those major undertakings, having a proof of concept approach like a Agentforce hackathon is very valuable and a great way to get things and getting the ball rolling, to be honest.
That's a great insight. Nadine, what about you?
For me, it pushed me to think outside of the box and how to take a simple process or a complex one and add AI to it. Because my project was a simple opportunity coach, you would think it's simple, but then how do you add AI to that? So I had to think about it behind the scenes. How do I inject AI to this simple tool that can help many end users at the end of the day on their day-to-day? So it was a small, impressible change that turned out to be a great value to help the company and the end users when we completed it. So we can see that AI is not there to take over the roles. It's here to enhance everybody. So I don't think we should be afraid. I think this is going to help us to push forward through and create more AI implementations.
Yeah, and it's amazing what those like little changes can add up to over the course of like a day, a week, a month, an entire organization. Like that's actually huge time and financial savings potentially. So even a small change can be very impactful. Okay, we've talked already about so many exciting things that came out of this, but I'd love to know, in your opinion, what is the most exciting thing for you that came out of this hackathon? And Dalida, I'll start with you as well.
So I'll speak for myself and my two colleagues that worked, the two other CRM COE that were on this hackathon with me, and as well Amber that Ishan did mention. The most exciting thing for us was the opportunity to actually present the result hackathon directly to our upper executives. So that level of exposure and the chance to showcase the innovative work that we accomplished was incredibly rewarding. Sal and Ian and myself don't get to meet with the executives at that level every day. So the fact that we got to stand in front of the leadership and demonstrate the tangible value of a project like this. Beyond that, the most valuable outcome was the friendship and bond that formed between Bell and Ateko team members. Given the intense time crunch and the pressure to deliver, we really had to rely on each other. That shared experience created a strong sense of friendship and bond, I think, that will last a long time, even after this hackathon is over. It's actually a reminder that even in the most demanding situations, building strong relationships and working together as a team can lead to truly amazing results.
Fantastic. Ishan, what about you?
Like I said, if you agree with Dalida, things are always right. So I'll agree with her there as well on kind of some of those team building items too. And actually, this was probably the first time Dalida and I got to work together ever. And I've heard Dalida's name for the past, I don't know, 3-4 years, almost every day of my life, and never actually had a chance to meet and work with her. So that was very exciting to be able to finally, first of all, put a face to a name, face to a name, name to a face, one of those things. And also get a chance to work with Dalida. And obviously, all the things that people have said about her are all 100% accurate, and if anything, very understated. So that was definitely a great thing that came out of this hackathon. And then, not saying too many more nice things about Dalida, I'll move on to something else. But seeing the art of the possible in just such a short period of time, I thought was very, very cool. There's a lot of sentiments out there of what Agentforce is and what it isn't. But when you get your hands dirty and start really tackling real life business challenges instead of, maybe some more made up scenarios and really, things that are going to help the day-to-day business from, an actual production standpoint, you can really see the power of the platform and really makes you excited about what it can do. So I think that was probably the most exciting thing for me. It made me very excited about the future of Agentforce, especially for Bell.
I did pay Ishan to say that, by the way.
Say, Leslie, it was really great working with the Salesforce team, having them there to answer and ask any questions on the fly. Ming was such a tremendous help. He was helping me in the background figure out issues on the fly that I don't think I would have figured out alone. So that doing a hackathon, I think that was a strong part of it for help for us to getting this to completion.
Yeah, that's a great note, and a really kind of important part of this is that you had the actual Salesforce employee experts in there with you. So if you hit one of those technical hurdles, you had somebody who, potentially built that feature. It was like really, really had a deep knowledge and understanding of what you were trying to accomplish. So I'm sure that made a huge difference in the final outcomes, being able to draw from their expertise as well.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Okay, here's the last question. Everybody gets to answer this one. So this was a fantastic achievement, I think, on all fronts across all organizations, and everybody was very happy with the outcome. But admittedly, this is something very different. I don't think we've done this before. Most companies don't engage in this type of thing very often. So how can we encourage continued experimentation and that innovative mindset post-hackathon?
Yeah, so that's really $1 million question there, Leslie. So how do we capture that hackathon lightning in a bottle and keep it sparkling, right? So I think a big part of it is dedication to innovation time. So basically we need to assemble a brain trust, a group of business know-it-alls, including some of our fearless upper management teams, and carve out dedicated time for them to brainstorm and experiment with new ideas, right? Even if it's just a few hours a month, a quarter, that focus effort can make a huge difference. We could, structure it as Innovation Fridays or even Think Tank Tuesdays, something like that. That's fun. The key is just to make it like an official part of a job description or in your calendar, not just something they say squeeze in between meetings or emails, right? Because let's be honest, nobody has spare time, and it's truly a myth if somebody does say they have spare time. Ultimately, we need to, foster a culture where experimentation is seen as a core value and not just a one-time thing.
Absolutely. That's very insightful. Nadine, what about you? What do you think?
Just to build on what Dalida just mentioned, we can stay in touch with the end users and figure out their pain points. Keep a list of them. That way, we can use that list during our Think Tank Tuesday. That's a tongue twister, Dalida. But yes, we can have that list going and see how we can address that pain with AI, just to help the end users on a frequent basis. And it could be a small implementation that would help so much, and continue to think outside the box, and maybe one small thing can join to another small thing, and the next thing you know, you have a big project of AI. So if we just continue to push outside of the box, I think this is the way to go.
Awesome. Ishan, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with the other two there. It sounds to me, honestly, that focused, dedicated time is always going to be needed for these sorts of things, because the day-to-day is always going to be hectic. So my, recommendation to all executives and leadership out there who are looking to do something like this, or foster innovation, is it's not only about incentivizing it; it's also about removing the barriers from the team to really allow them to focus on that. And I thank all the Bell leadership who invested not only the time themselves, but allow their teams to invest the time into this. And Dalida's senior leadership in particular, making sure that they were able to focus on these on the hackathon days, because there's a lot of times where people may look to invest and say, okay, we're going to do this hackathon, but then something happens and they're being moved on to something else. So having a day-to-day focus on removing the barriers as part of that hackathon, very, very crucial on encouraging sort of that continued experimentation.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing here is that this needs to be a full organizational approach, and it needs to start at the top levels where the executive understands and supports the value of this and encourages their team to carve off time for it. But it also needs to apply all the way down, so the people who are the hands-on keyboard users are doing what Nadine said, like keeping this list of potential problems that can be solved, and then making sure that everybody is connected and blocking time to solve these issues together, because it's really just going to create that much more of an impact across the organization as people continue to use these agentic AI solutions. So I think what was accomplished here with this hackathon was really amazing, and I'm excited to see some of these things actually get out into the wild and make it out into the world. So thank you all so much for your time. I really appreciate getting these insights, and we can't wait to see what comes next.